Who are the Gators to watch, Caleb?
All right, so first, I'm going to do two together because I'm going to do the two quarterbacks, and they are two of my five. But DJ Lagway and Graham Mertz, and Tennessee has to watch for both of them. Jimmy's right. Graham Mertz is completing 77% of his passes. Now, he's averaging 8.5 yards an attempt. You would think if you were completing 77% of your passes, you'd be averaging like 12 yards an attempt. But he's it's like that year McGuire hit 70 home runs and still couldn't bat 300. It's kind of like that. So, like, yes, he's completing 77% of his passes, but he is being very efficient. And I think Tennessee needs to watch for him. And then number 4 is DJ Lagway, who will come in and is completing 69% of his passes, and he is averaging 12 yards an attempt. And DJ Lagway also is a dual threat.
I'm not worried about either one of these dudes. If Tennessee plays its defense, I don't think they're game changers. And they're going to be out there taking snaps, don't get me wrong, and we need to know who they are. But I don't think there's a guy, at least with Taylor Green, I thought he could escape the pocket and do some things. And DJ Lagway throws a great downfield ball. But I think Tennessee, when you give me one that I think could change the game no matter what Tennessee does, I'll give you this.
That's hot.
All right, Caleb, what do you got?
All right, so number 3, because those are two together, I'm going to go. There's only one defender Tennessee really needs to worry about, and it's the outside linebacker, George Gums Jr. And the reason he's the one defender they need to worry about is because Florida's best pass rusher is Tyreek Sapp. But Billy Napier, because he is a detail-oriented genius, is insistent on starting Cameron James over Tyreek Sapp. So he's not going to see the field as much as he should, even though he leads the team in sacks and tackles for a loss. And
okay.
So
I know that it's Tyreek, but I don't think we have to get the A in there.
Okay, sorry.
Don't you think it's just Tyreek?
Probably.
Tyreek?
But anyways, George Gums is the outside linebacker. He has 4.5 tackles for a loss, 2.5 sacks. And not only have Lance Hurd and John Campbell struggled in pass pro, but based on what Mike Stoll told us yesterday, they have very slow feet, which is to say that when you send outside linebackers on complex split schemes, that's when they're at their absolute worst. And I'm pretty sure that's what Florida's going to do, and Tennessee needs to prepare for it. So George Gums is who they need to watch out for.
Okay, I would have gone with Tyreek because he's the head of that Reed and Tyreek defense. Reed and Reed. Tyreek action. I think that I've got something there, but it needs to be workshopped.
They're like, that is total bullshit.
I know, Peyton, that was bad. Caleb, what other Gators do we need to know about?
All right, so I'm going to go back to the offense. Number 2 on their list is their go-to receiver, Elijah Badger. He's got 17 catches for 346 yards and 2 touchdowns on the year. And very fast player, transferred from Arizona State, which is funny enough where Jaden Rashada went to after Florida couldn't pay him NIL money. But there are questions about Tennessee secondary, so they need to maintain him. They need to key in on him as much as they possibly can.
That's hot.
I'll give you that one, especially after Tennessee's not tested secondary was tested against a very average passing offense and gave up some big plays and nearly 300 yards. Who's next?
Yep. And finally, the most important player on this team for Florida that Tennessee's got to watch out for is Montrell Johnson. He's got 58 carries for 288 yards and 4 touchdowns. Also has 12 catches for 56 yards on the year. With DJ Lagway in, it's even more difficult to contain him. This is why I said yesterday the pressure is going to be on the Tennessee football linebackers once again to make sure that he doesn't go off. Montrell Johnson is a very, very dangerous player, guys. Last year, Tennessee relatively kept him in check because he only had 12 carries for 23 yards and an 18-yard grab, but he still had a touchdown. Tennessee has to maintain him at all times.
Okay, what happens if I hit both these buttons at the same time?
They're like, that is total bullshit.
Okay. I think he's a very good running back. I don't understand how you can't have, however we want to pronounce it, Tyreek Sapp on there.
Because Billy Napier's not starting him.
Well, yeah, but he might start this week. I mean, to me, he could flip the game as much as anybody that you've named. He's either he's either coming into his own or Billy Napier, surely to goodness, is going to make a decision to get him out there.
But Dave, you
early
don't
and
understand the details of Billy Napier, okay?
Yes, he's a very
And-
detail-oriented coach.
Yes, okay. This is in Tyree Sapp. You have to understand the details of why he needs to ride the bench the same way you just didn't understand the details of why Jamal Lewis had to ride the bench and sit behind Mark Levine for 3 games, okay?
Well, that was a whole different problem. Tennessee didn't run the ball. I think Mark Levine only had like 9 carries in that loss to Florida. I mean, they didn't run the ball, so I don't know that it matters who was back there.
I mean, you just don't know. You got to pay attention to details, okay? And Billy Napier's details tell him that Tyreek Sapp requires he be on the bench in this game. And, the only time that he will go out on the field is when Florida's about to return a punt and Billy Napier needs to run 2 guys out with the same number so he can get a penalty to keep Tennessee on the field. Guys, I'm obviously joking. I think Tyreek Sapp is a danger. I just don't think Billy Napier plays him enough. And so I think that's a huge problem. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, it's not like you're Georgia or Alabama where you can afford to, not play better players because you're so loaded. I'll also say this. I'm making fun of Billy Napier. When we talk about, substitution decisions, Dave, what's the worst one you ever covered? Because for me, it's obvious. For me, the worst one, and I don't even care it's Tennessee, it's starting Joe Milton over Hendon Hooker. What is the worst personnel depth chart decision you have ever covered where a player was chosen to start over somebody else and you thought that was just stupid from the start and you were proven right?
Stupid from the start? Because I didn't necessarily think Milton stupid from the start.
I thought Milton was stupid from the start, and I wrote it at the time. I don't think Milton is stupid. I thought starting Milton was stupid from the start.
Before they even played a play?
Yes. When you were covering Tennessee, what was a depth chart decision? And I don't mean like putting Leonard Little at defensive end instead of middle linebacker. But you can maybe consider that. No, I mean like one player was selected to start over somebody else, and you were just like, that is dumb. This player's better.
I can't think of one that stands out. In retrospect, Tennessee probably should have started Rick Clausen instead of Eric Ainge because the entire team wanted Rick Clausen to play.
But the truth of the matter is I side with Fulmer on that because when they did go with Rick Clausen, finally.
Yeah. Players should fall in line with a more talented player. So I don't know that that's a good one by me. I'm having trouble thinking of one, to be real honest with you.
Not like starting Joey Matthews against Southern Miss in 2000.
Definitely Joey Matthews. That's a good one. I was pretty sure that he wasn't ready to go. There you go. You answered your own question. I can't come up. That's one of those because I did high school football at the time. So I did one of his games. And you wanted him to do well because he was a local guy. But in my heart of hearts, I knew that wasn't going to happen.
What about Dooley starting Matt Sims over Tyler Bray?
Yeah, again, that Tyler Bray's a nincompoop. So did he do something the week leading up to? I mean,
that's true. Oh, I got it. I think I'm going to win. Are you ready for this one?
Well, Jamal Lewis not starting over Mark Levine, even though they didn't run the ball, and I don't think it cost them, was the ultimate example.
True. But I think the most obvious one, and I'll just go ahead and say it, and I say this with all due respect to this kid, because I'm sure he's a good kid and he was a veteran at the time. But when Larry Slade and John Chavis, when Tennessee was headed out to Cal, decided that they were going to start Gerard Parrish over Eric Berry because Gerard Parrish had the experience.
That was not good.
Yeah. We've really
and the ultimate one, I think, though, because it was proven over time, would have to be Jalen Hurd and Alvin Kamara.
That's true, but that was all. They kind of split reps. That was really dumb. I agree.
But they split reps 2/3 to Hurd's side because they paid him, and they didn't want him to leak that information out. And no, but you don't have to know football. I mean, my wife barely watches football, and she could have seen that Alvin Kamara is by far the better player.
Yes, I agree. That was Butch Jones had to be proven right that Jalen Hurd shouldn't have been a defensive end too. And Jalen Hurd, you're right. I mean, again, not only did they pay him, Butch Jones was trying to hold. I'm actually going to defend him. He was trying to hold the locker room together, and he took a kid who has some of the worst parenting of any recruit ever. I mean, Jalen Hurd's parents should be ashamed of themselves. They sabotaged his career.